Guys, welcome to 2018. Cold today, that's for sure. Today, about a couple of you guys keep asking about the Claymore sword. I haven't done any more with it, but I'll get it finished. It's just a function of getting some of the commissions done, paying some bills, and being in the mindset to continue that. If you remember the last two videos, that guard gave me grief. I have an idea that I want to do, but it'll get done hopefully soon. Anyway, today I have a commission to do a timber chisel, timber slick, I think is another name for it, or the right name, I'm not sure. And it's you know, 2.5 inch wide chisel grind with a socket that you timber framers can use to cut out mortise and tendons and that kind of stuff. Typical chisel stuff. Never made one of those before, and I've never actually made a socket before that I can remember. I don't believe I have. So this should be pretty interesting. I'm going to start off with a piece of truck spring, because that's about the width and half that I want on the chisel end, and then we'll have to go from there. So I just I heated that up in the propane forge that I use to try to get a little heat in the shop before I start moving. But let me show you what my plan is. Alright, once we get going, I'm going to have a rectangular piece. Again, you can see that I can't, right? Alright, and I'm looking at 3.5, maybe 4 inches in length here. Hopefully around 2 or 2.5 inches in width. And then what I'm going to do for the socket, which I think is the right thing to do, is we're going to come in a little on both sides. I can't really see what you can see there. And then basically create a little dovetail and remove this steel. Either remove it or forge it in. I'm not sure because I've never done it before. Alright, and that'll be the basic shape. This will be the chisel edge. That'll be the dovetail eventually. And we'll then peen this thing out, cross peen this thing out so that it's wider, hopefully. And then roll that, and we might try forge welding it, see how that goes into a socket, finish up the blade, and you know, that's pretty much it. But I think it's actually going to be a challenging project for me. I'm going to have to build some type of mandrel or something for the socket so that I can forge weld it. I don't think I have anything. Yeah, see, that's too narrow. I'm going to have to come up with something. And that's an interesting thing, because to do a forge weld over a mandrel, I've never done that. And if I ever want to do a gun barrel or something like that, that's something I'm going to have to do. So, alright, that's the project. Let's get this thing heated up, straightened out, and see what we got. The guys I'm making this for that I've never done it before, never even used one, so it's good. For a tool, it's often best if you have at least an idea of what that tool works like. But the one thing that he certainly indicated over and over again is that I can't have any of, and he didn't say it this way, but we're going to talk because you know what I'm talking about. Can't have any of Chandler's trademarks in here. Those are hammer marks. The back side of this thing needs to be perfectly flat, perfectly smooth in order for it to work well. So we're going to have to see what we can do using this old truck spring. I'm already kind of setting myself up because there's an awful lot of pitting going on. But again, never make one before. We'll start with this. And if it seems to work in concept, but maybe if it's not smooth enough, I can make the guy another one and use this one as exercise. Again, the point is, I never made that kind of tool. I'll be glad to do that. I don't do chisel grinds very often. I'll be glad to do that. And I've never made a socket, let alone tried to forge weld on a mandrel. So that's, those are the new things for today. We'll go ahead and flatten off one more section of this. Shoot, I didn't put my heat in the right spot. I might have enough there. I'm going to go get the cutoff wheel, and we're going to cut off that, whatever that mess was, and figure out my length. Like I said, I want about 4 inches, I think, for the chisel end, and then whatever I think I need for that socket. And I want a decently deep socket, so probably somewhere in this range I'll cut it off, and I'll be back. Well, I'd love to tell you that was fun, but this is my first live 2018. That was a hell of a lot of grinding dust going in my nose. So I got this thing carved out. I ended up going with 5 inches. I hope that's long enough. And then I'm not sure, about a 6-inch cone here. We'll see how it all works. I think I need to heat this up just to break off those last pieces, and we can start drawing out the width on this socket. Let's see what we can do about nipping off last parts of this grind here. I got a piece of sacrificial down on the bottom. Should be only in this direction we need to. Let's clean it up. That should be good enough to break off, I bet you. And we're in a pile of dust on the floor. That should turn into a little fire. So we'll free that. Safety first. Second, third. This one ought to come back and hit me right in the leg, catch my pants on fire. Unless we're a bit more careful this time. This back on the sacrificial a little bit. Take your time, because we're afraid to do the next part. Alright, we got to now widen that out. Now, I suppose we could use a basic high school geometry class, figure out what we got to do. So this thing here is 2.5 inches wide. To make that a full circle, well no, to make, let's say, a 2-inch circle, 2-inch, 1.5 inches, maybe 1.5 inches. So that'd be 3 or 4. Let's see, if 1.5 inches. See, that's the thing. I don't know what size. 2-inch might be too big. But let's just go for 2-inch at this end. So that's about 6 inches of length that we need for a 2-inch diameter. So this needs to be spread out somewhere between 5 and 6 inches to make that 2-inch circle. That looks like fun. On this, I decided 1.5 inches is probably what I'm after anyway, so we don't have to go as far as I thought we did. Again, I've never made a socket before, so the question that I have right off the bat is how do I get this socket so that it's centered on that max? You know what I mean? First Amendment. That's the thing, I don't know if I should hit this side at all or just work it all off to one side. I still don't know. Let's see what we've grown to. Started at 2.5. We've picked ourselves up a 1/4 inch. I'll tell you, I must have been good somehow this year because I really was hoping to get some coal for Christmas. Didn't happen. I'm almost out. So I better be a little more naughty next year, or this year. Go ahead and start hitting this side too, I guess. I already see something I'm going to want to fix here pretty soon. If you can see it, right where I did the cuts, they got some really acute angles and a little bit of overhang from that grind. I gotta round those off. Maybe I can do it right there, I'm not sure, or I'll just file them out. Get a bit of that out of there without distorting anything up here too much. Just a little bit. file. Popping those corners up a little bit. I'm not exactly happy with this one, but we'll watch it for a while. Just do some more spreading. Spreading. Using the 4-pounder, that's a little bigger radius peen. I'm not trying to grow any length, so that's why I'm using just the cross peen. In my mind anyway, that's why I'm using the cross peen. Stretching, keep those doggies stretching. Socket that'll be 6 inches wide. Almost. The best way to help accelerate this is to do this right over this horn. Is a bit more loud that way though. A little too loud for my ears. But we're putting good pullers in there. It's going to help a lot. We're getting there. That ain't even the scary part. The scary part is that forge weld. Maybe I'll get scared and pull out the MIG. We'll see. Tell you what, that 4-pounder makes the shop a lot warmer. So in that series, I had some pullers in there from the peen and the horn. I was hitting, it's just a little bit oblique. To hit and push, both directions, and I picked up quite a bit of width with that one. Very pleased. Got myself some ear protection this time. Ahead and run her over the horn. Looks like I got some amble work to do. Looks good, don't it? It really looks good. Damn close for a 1-inch handle anyway. Push this sucker out a little bit more. Getting heavy. Getting heavy. Oh, mamma mia. Boy, I'll tell you, I really wish we were there. I'm suspecting we ain't close. So we are now at a little over 3 inches. This would give us a 1 inch diameter on the outside, narrower on the inside. I just don't think that's big enough. A little farther. This little angle jobber pin that I made, put the handle on backwards, upside down, much more aggressive. You should pick up some width here pretty quick. I'm using this one because I'm trying to clean up my edges and my angles a little bit. This one here looks a little flatter. This one's got a bit of a cup in it. Control those hits a little better. Start making spears and arrowheads. I'm still learning how to do this. Socket idea. Let's start with the bigger one first, don't you? Hey, time to lose a jacket. About it, we might not be where we want to be, but we're getting closer every time, so let's hope we're almost there. Just about as thin as I want to be, I'll tell you that much. Just about as thin as I want it to be. Well, that's 3.5. Let's clean it up. I think we're going to call it whatever that is. See what we end up with. I don't want to go much thinner, I don't think. We'll pull the 3-pounder out. It's got a bit more rounding to it. Helps spread and clean things up a little. Hopefully. Ready Aphrodite. Let's see what we got. Just start fine-tuning that draw. Again, a little bit oblique on the hammer. To help pull it out, oblique the opposite direction right there. Bad. Let's go one more time through. Try to move it, clean it. And I guess we're going to need a tool. So we might have 2 videos today. I might end up doing it. I don't know if a stake anvil would be strong enough for the forge weld, but I think it's probably the right thing to do. So we might actually do that. Now that'll be a crap load of hammer. Holy crap. I'm not happy about that, I'll tell you. But you guys will have another video to watch, I guess. If I do it that way. If I decide to do it that way. Kind of clean it up a little bit here. I don't know how important that is, but a little more width on it. I had some more, but we're down to about 1/8 of an inch. So we're going to have whatever we have. Little black heat getting out some of the hammer mark. Not critical up here, but when we do that forge weld, we're going to want a clean spot anyway. We're going to want a clean spot anyway, so it's easier for grinding. Let me go ahead and put a scarf in so that I can turn around and forget which direction I put it in before we roll that. Alright, let's clean this up. Again, I don't know how I'm going to get this thing centered in the end, but let's say we're going to roll it that way, so I'll put a scarf over here. Just a chamfer, just to thin the steel so when you do the forge weld, you don't have that line that I had in there. Oh, I did yesterday. Alright, so that's going to be the over. And then this one we want the scarf on this side. Let me just heat it up one more time. Like I said, I'll probably end up rolling it backwards anyway, knowing me. Fine, that's the scarf there, and that's going to come around, and we're going to want a scarf opposite here. Or none at all, I'm not sure. Leave the comments, somebody will tell me how stupid I am. We'll do that. Okay, children, let's go ahead and roll this sucker. Get her somewhere rolled. Amanda probably will help with that. I just want to see what I have to work with. We'll roll it, and then I'll make some tool for the forge weld. So this roll is going to be in here. Nope, out here. Do. Come on, channels. Alright, use this just to get it started anyway. Get a little more out of it if we can. Gotta get some heat down here and get it rolled off. So let's fix that. Let's fix that part. Let's do what I want to do here, I hope. Better. Alright. Alrighty, we're getting somewhere. 2018, oh boy. Again, what I'm trying to do is imagine what we need to move, whether it's back here or right on the edge. Again, I've never done this before. So, back here I want some more off the center rather than the edge. I'm going to make sure I tuck the right one under. Can change the shape of it a little later if we need to. Get under. Just enough to get an overlap to forge weld, just like that. Okay, I know what I'm talking about. So there you have it. We're all set up ready for the forge weld. Now what I need to do is create some type of mandrel. Wish this would work, it almost would. Damn, it's close. To stick in there so that I can forge weld that together. Man, that's really close. But let me think on this. I'll go ahead and normalize all that damage we've done, not damage, with all that stress we put on that steel there. And let me think. Got this big old thing. Doesn't fit in my hardy hole in any way, but we could modify that if I wasn't thinking of selling it. I wonder if that would give me enough. Oh yeah, it would. Damn, should I go ahead and modify that and get that sucker down in my anvil? Ooh, mama, I think that would be it. That's perfect, and I don't have to make a tool. And maybe I'll keep this sucker after all. What do y'all think? Should I hammer it down in there? Let's do it. Let's do it. And I'll keep it. We'll use it for a few things, but I'll just make that fit, which I think I can do just by hammering it in there. We'll heat it up. Before I modify that I would check my swedge block out. I don't use it very much. I'm actually thinking of selling it. It takes up too much space. I didn't think that it fit. I thought I had tried this before. It weighs 300 pounds. But it does fit. It fits in that one hole just fine. And I think if I move her out here a little bit, I can forge weld without starting a whole lot of fun. I hate being in such a small space, but it is what it is. Get the charcoal the hell out of here. That stuff burns quick. So I'm going to come over. Come on. Wouldn't mind you sitting second. Chandler sure does struggle. The problem is that's backwards now. I'll be back. So I just set it up next to it. I should be able to, if everything goes well. Come on over here, slide that cone in. I think that's good. I think we're just gonna use it. That's what it's made for. So I gotta start too early. We gotta get this. I want this whole thing up to temp. Most of it is really tricky when you gotta move the piece to get it up to temp. I don't want to mess it up. I want it done in one go. At least the first good stick. Damn close. Stay hot, stay hot. No faking this one. Come on. Just trying. Just trying. Try to do the whole thing at once. Just trying. Alright, we're gonna go. You guys ready? Here we go. Hopefully we got the right temperature. Get it on there, girl. You don't break the time to dance. Oh, it's just split. Not even close. Too much bounce in that manual. I was worried about that. Get it back together. Yeah, when I hit that, the son of a bitch just bounced. It slid apart. Oh crap. Okay, Chandler, we gotta learn now. So if I don't hit, I hit straight on the joint, I'm thinking I need to hit right over there. I'm just gonna go for one tack on the end to help hold things together. I'll heat it up, we'll clean it up, we'll flux it up again. Damn, I didn't do this bounce. Man, there's just too much spring there. I was afraid of that. I don't know if there's anything I can do to fix that or not. Clean this up. I know you probably can't see me, but I'm just talking out loud right now. Because I expected that to work a heck of a lot easier than it did. Now I'm a bit scared. We do have quite a bit of time into this thing. I'd hate to see it be for nothing. You know what I mean, Jelly? Hate to see it be for nothing. Alright, let's think here. If we put something underneath it. And we just gotta be careful, that's all. We'll just be careful, see what happens. next time around here. Let this go for a couple inches. Why you gotta be so mean? Question is, do I keep you waiting this whole time, or do I edit this part out? Hell, if I'm in it, why can't you be in it, right? Give me some good heat. We ain't got much time to play here. I think we're there. Let's give her another go. Come on, children. Come on, get in there, get in there, get in there. Don't know if I got a stick on that second part or not. Might have. Let's clean her up. We'll go a little bit more flux. Excuse me, we always have a name. Alright, I'm going to back you guys up so you can watch all the action. Over and let you take a peek at it. So I can't tell, but it looks like we're okay. We are overlapped, so it, you know, some of it looks like it's just kissing, but it is overlapped. That was just the first time down through, and hammering down here didn't open up down there, so maybe we're okay. I'm gonna go down one more time. I'm not gonna try to close this little notch off. It's just, it might be something geometry. But we're gonna take a couple inches at a time. If I can get a second weld on it without it breaking open, I'm gonna call it good. Cut out all that, you know, there's a lot of footage. This weld was a pain in my ass. In case I cut that out and just throw it out as a special feature for those who want to see all the trouble I went through. Use the tool on the swedge block. Couldn't get that stick to happen. All right, tried a couple of times. It kept opening up. I'm still not really welded down here, but we're going to see what happens with that. Ultimately, I didn't have it overlapped enough. I mean, I just had, you know, 1/8 of an inch, and it was just sliding apart. I overlapped it 1/2 inch, and it seemed to work pretty well that way. Problem is, my diameter's on the small side. So if I decide to cut out all that extra work, you might want to see it, because it's Chandler struggling and swearing and singing and all sorts of things. I'll put that out as a special feature right after this one. Otherwise, there it is. Now, I got to try to figure out how to get that little bugger without breaking my welds. Go ahead and try flaring that out. It'll be a test of the welds anyway. I hope they don't come apart. But if they do, that's the end of that. We're going to hit this and make it up. Alright, and I'm just trying to stretch that out a little bit. Again, I really wanted 1.5 inches, 1.25 inches I'd be happy with right now. Especially with such a long what the hell is it called? Socket! Especially with a long socket. Stretch out a little bit more here. Oh, how did it get stuck? How did it get stuck? We ain't going nowhere. I guess it is what it is. It's really, I don't have enough. Where am I? I don't have enough wall there to stretch it out anyway, I think. Well, that's too bad. But it is what it is. So we'll see if we can straighten it out anyway. That's too bad. Round it off a little bit. And we'll go from there. Damn Sam. About getting this thing so it's at least straight and in line. I don't know about those welds, but you know what? We're going to give it to him anyway. And he can try it. And if you don't like it, or if it fails, then I'll know what happened. Those don't look much like welds to me, but we got a bit of a wonk in this direction. And then we got a bit of a wonk in this direction. I'll do that from the end. Still wonked over here. Let me heat it up. Just trying to get it straight. I honestly don't know. I know some of that weld is good, but I don't think most of it is. We got a little wonk in that direction. We'll come over here so you're off camera. I don't want to flatten it any more than I have to. You know what I mean? Jelly bean. That ain't too bad. That ain't too bad. Not for a monkey with an animal. Alright, we're going to call it that. Let me clean it off one more time. Get some of that fluff off of there. Then we'll move to the bevel edge. You know, the simplest thing to do would be just to grind it. Probably the cleanest thing to do would be just to grind it. But let's go ahead and let's hammer the son of a gun in, since we're trying to do as much old school as we can. Again, the key is the back has to be perfectly flat. And you couldn't have told me more times than that. At this point, this is a prototype, so we're going to hammer that bevel in. What do here is get that kink out of it. So we're heading off at an angle. Now, honestly, with my ignorance of the tool, I'm not sure if we want the handle directly in line or not, but my guess is we do. Straight down the center, if possible, I would guess. He'll let me know. I think that's about where we're going to be. Alrighty. I don't know if there's any weld there. I've seen prettier stuff, I'll tell you. But let's bevel that sun gun up. Chisel bevel. That's all we're at. 25 degrees, I think. Looking for a 25 degree, and that's what a lot of the planes use. So I think that's what we're after. So that's our little benchmark. We'll see what the heck we get out of it anyway. I don't know if we're hot enough yet. We just might bite. Again. Oh yeah, that's the wrong sandwich. Let's see what we end up with. I'm going to go with this 2-pounder first to see what happens. Oh, I can tell that's not going to move very much. Just so I can control that edge a little bit. If I want to keep hammering that back or just grind that extra off when I get done. But there's first step. Pythagorean theorem, we can go ahead and determine how much of a bevel we should have. So we're looking at material that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, 5, 6/16. Alright, so that would be what, 3/8, right? Yeah, alright, 3/8. Let's put that in the calculator. That'll give me an idea of how, I want to know how long that should look and how long that should look. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. On my 5th grade math, without my wear brush. There's, Pythagorean ain't the right answer. SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. Sine equals opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine equals adjacent over hypotenuse. chances are I could just eyeball the damn thing and be close enough, but we'll do the math in between our hammers. And again, I'm taking my time because I want to try to keep it straight as possible. Here, a little bit more. Again, you could have done this on the grinder in just a few minutes, but like I said, sometimes the exercise is better than the result. It's worth the work. That's looking, I mean, that's a pretty nice looking bevel. I think I'm doing a decent job. So we're doing our math. Keep going here. 0.42 inches should be the hypotenuse, the bevel hypotenuse length. So about half an inch, which looks like we're getting pretty damn close to that right now. Looks like we're getting pretty damn close to that right now. We are at, yep, just short of half an inch. So I bet you we're about 25 degrees. Happy, happy, happy. Just double check my math with the adjacent to my math. 0.46 is the plane length. 0.42 is the hypotenuse, which makes absolutely no sense. So forget about the math today, Chandler. Can't be doing stuff like that on my brain when I'm trying to get stuff where I need to be. But I'm saying, I'm going to call that 25 degrees. Hell yeah, right on the money. Ask any machine shop. Alright, so I'm looking things over. I need it perfectly flat. Perfectly flat. I mean, not even a problem. And then that bevel looks like it's good and cut. So let's go ahead and clean this thing up. We'll let her cool down, we'll clean it up and see what it looks like cleaned up, and then harden that tip. All we gotta do is harden this edge and put a final grind on it. We got the rough grind on it, and we're gonna have a second title to this video when it comes out. Forging a timber, oh geez, what the hell do they call it? Chisel and, oh geez, I forgot the name, my brain's fried. Plus I'm a little disappointed at the moment. Because, well anyway, the second title is going to be why not to trust leaf spring steel. So again, the bottom, the one thing he kept repeating, it's got to be perfectly flat. Well, flat, but also you don't want all of these pits. Now I can grind those out some more, but they're pretty deep. But more importantly than that, as I've started grinding that down, see if you can see them. You see this crack? There's one there. There's one there. There's one there. There's one here. There's one there. And that's one of the issues with using leaf spring for knife stock or whatever. I wish I could get the light glare out of there. But hopefully you can see them all the way through. Alright. This whole corner is going to come off someday. This crack goes all the way parallel. But anyway, so that's it. Exercise in that. My welds really don't look that bad. I mean, I think some of it, I think most of it's okay actually. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but I believe we're okay. I mean, okay enough. Well, obviously, this is just going to be a tool for Chandler now, and he done learned his lesson not to use. Can you see him in there? Right there, look at that one. Oh yeah. And there's another one. Oh yeah, beautiful. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and harden it up. I'll use it for me for something, and finish the project. So that's, I mean, there's nothing wrong with Chandler teaching you some things that don't go so well. So I got the rough grind on, the bevel's not all the way down, but we're just gonna, bring up that much of it, maybe a little more because of those stress fractures. It's a critical. We'll quench it in some oil and we'll clean it all up and be done with this project. I think where we want her to be. Get her in the oil. Just down to that part. See how much more cracking occurs. Crazy. All that work. We know better. Those of us that have been watching these videos and listening to the old timers, don't use unknown steel. I mean, it's this tool. That one crack scares me. The one that's on the corner. But this tool, if I were looking to make a tool for myself, hell, I'd use it. What the hell? Probably won't break too much. But you can't sell stuff like that. No way. You can't put your name on something like that. Alright, let me clean it up. I'll get it tempered. I'll come back when I'm done with the final grind. Righty after datey. So we got her cleaned up. Alright. And again, I wouldn't want to leave this in the final product, and I certainly wouldn't want any of the this rough stuff in there. Bevel looks good. Alright, I'd say that's pretty damn close to 25 if it ain't. It's I went down to 300 grit. It doesn't feel extremely sharp, but it is. It's just because of that chisel grind. But again, there they are, all those cracks. It's crazy. You can see them right up to the edge and into the bevel. That one there ain't gonna last long, I bet you. But anyway, let me go ahead and throw a handle on. Like I said, it's a pretty thick blade, but it does. I mean, it's. Where am I down here? Someplace. I mean, it's got a good edge on it, I think. I believe he wants a little bit of a convex on the final piece. I'll have to ask him again. I don't remember for sure. But at this point, I'm going to go ahead and throw a broom handle, I guess, inside this thing. We'll give it a few whacks on something and we'll see what it looks like and we'll call it a day. Again, lesson learned. Big time lesson learned with cracks. And that was before I even tempered it, or hardened it rather. God, I wish you could see them because they're just sad. Sad, sad, sad. All right, I'll be right back. It's getting cold in the shop now. It's down to 29 degrees. Holy cow, my hands are frozen. All right, I don't claim to know anything about this. I just threw sad looking handle on. The one that he's ordered, he's going to put his own handle in, so it'd just be the socket and the chisel. I think it looks great. If I do this, it'd look prettier. It's just, you know, learning experience. Forge welding, I'm telling you. I was, you know, driving that handle in and nothing separated there. I think we have a good forge weld even after I was pessimistic about it. So it doesn't look good, but I think we got enough of a weld in there. Again, I'm not sure exactly how this is supposed to work, but it's a piece of ash that I have, so at least it's a piece of hardwood. I don't know, that seems to be going right in there. My wood would stay still. See if we can go in. Don't laugh at me, guys. I don't know how this tool is supposed to be used. Just trying to get a feel for it. I don't have anything to hold on to. Now, we run the bevel down, right? Which may be the right way to do it anyway. There you go. Now we're getting somewhere. We're cutting our mortise. like it's something. Looks like it's something. Alright, double up. And that's nice thin shave coming off there. See, 20 degrees. What the heck? It's cold. I don't know if you can see that or not, but nice little shave coming off. Very pleased. A little more research to do, and we're going to definitely use a steel that's known. Definitely use a steel that's known. There you go. Holy cow, my fingers are frozen as that's so cold. There you have it. My first attempt at a slick, timber slick, or a timber chisel. And again, I'm socket's too long, not big enough. Forge welding, I will figure it out. It's something I can do for sure. Wider and more over and overlap, and I'd have a good forge weld there. Definitely don't use spring steel, or at least clean it up. As soon as I started grinding it, I found those cracks. So at least take it down to plane before you mess with it. Definitely, you know, with all this pitting and stuff, it's just not the right material for this project for the customer. But I got myself a timber slick. I hope you enjoyed the show. Catch you on the next one. And again, on that Claymore, I'm gonna get to it. It's just cold and trying to get money made and that kind of stuff first. Ciao. Thanks for your support, really, guys. If you found this video helpful, educational, maybe even if you just found it entertaining, and you want to support me, you can jump back to my channel. There's a button on the right hand side of the screen called support, and it's kind of like a tip jar. You can go ahead and leave Chandler a tip for this video, and that'll help me make some more, I guarantee. Thanks for your support, as always.